Yeah. Power of the ancestors. Galaxies in my vessels. Stars
Yeah. You good, fam? Let's go, man. Every Monday.
Cosmic flows I am dealing. We are the living.
You good, fam? Hey. Big up to everyone coming through. Play some of that Kenya. You know what I mean? Some Know Yourself album. Jeez. Big up to everyone coming through, man. Loving the support, loving the vibes. Every Monday, man. You good, fam? Stolen from Africa, SFA community. My name is Logic. I'm out here with Symbolic, man. Let's do this. Yes. Respect for everyone for passing through, man. That's how we do it, man. Building community virtually, man. Going from the physical to the digital. That's how we out here, man. Hey. That's what's up. Okay, let us know about the powerful impact, man. Bring that down for us, man. Break it down for us. Always down to build, man. Always down to have conversations, man. You already know. We got some special guests coming through, joining on the conversation, adding on. We excited, man, to build. Yes. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning, man. Good morning.
Greetings.
Big up to everyone. Yeah, man. So we're going to get started with our weekly check-in, man. You good, fam. For those that are joining us, you can let us know how you're feeling on a scale from 1 to 10 in the chats. 1 being not so great, 10 being amazing. We like to, just make sure that we're all, on a certain frequency and make this like an inclusive vibe, So even though we're on camera, doesn't mean that you can't participate as well. So big up to everyone. We appreciate this, man. We got some good vibes, energy. I'm excited for everyone to speak from their truth, share their experiences, and how we can do things to move forward, man. Yes, salute, welcome.
Yes.
Appreciate it. Thank you for joining us. I love this, man. Got some new energy, some new friends. Yes, man. Big up Symbolic, man, for bridging the gap. That's how we like to keep it, man. Mad love. Yeah, man. So I guess let's just jump right into it, man. I know Symbolic probably like adding people and whatnot, but I was gonna pass it over to you and let us know how you're feeling on a scale from 1 to 10.
All right. It's really great to be here.
Yes.
Have our guests, our new family, Bin family, jumping through, and building it up. So, that already makes it start off the week nice. I would say, I'm at like a nice 8.5 today. I was like, things are just moving in general, globally, global black community, NFTs. I was right up to down to the minute on my meeting previously, and I'm here with you guys right on time. That went well, so I gotta say 8.5. Still room through this conversation to even get more nice, but I'm good. 8.5.
Proper. All right, we'll pass it over to our sisters, man. You can introduce yourself and let us know how you're feeling on a scale from 1 to 10 this morning. It's a beautiful Monday morning. Who would like to go first? No pressure.
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, unless T, you want to do it?
No. Go ahead.
Okay. I would say at least an 8 for myself, actually. Because it's, 8 is good. 8 is good.
Okay.
That's what's up.
Yeah, I would say about. I keep wanting. I don't mean to steal Symbolic. Yeah, 8.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good number.
I'm not quite 9, 10, not quite 8 yet. Right in there.
I love it. Everyone's on the higher end, the higher scale. Well, me, I you know what? I'm going to say I'm a 9 because my first inkling was to say 8 as well, but I'm going to go a 9, and I'm pretty sure by the end of the conversation it's going to be, a 10 because I just feel that there's going to be some like insights. There's going to be a lot of like sharing and growth, and that's something that we're really intentional about creating like virtually. It's just space for us to, you know, just to come together as a community, like wherever we are on this planet, and just, you know, spread that consciousness, you know. So I'm excited for that. That being said, those who are just joining us, man, this is the you know, You Good Fam Monday check-in, community check-in. If you want to, you know, add on and let us know how you're feeling on a scale from 1 to 10. You know, we like to, you know, have lots of participation and keep that energy circulating, you know. So even though we're on stage, it doesn't mean that you're not part of the conversation as well. So feel free to jump in the chats, and you know, we'll include that as well. So yeah, man. Big up, man. So yo, we can just get like right into it, man. So, you know, Symbolic hit me up this morning and was like, yo, what's today's topic? And I'm like, my first response is like, I don't know. We just, you know, we just kind of like intuitively try to figure something out. And then the first thing that came to mind was like intergenerational like traumas, and just, you know, this idea of healing. I feel like with like a lot of the things that's happening around the world, there's a lot of, you know, like, at least for me, and then maybe we can open this up and see what the experiences are for everybody. But this idea of just healing has been like a major like theme. And I feel that we're in a time right now where, you know, things are like transitioning. There's like a lot of shifts, like whether we're talking like technology or just different understandings of self, like, but I think it's like an opportunity to heal and, you know, to kind of like find some balance with some of the things that may not have worked in the past, you know. And there's certain things that may have worked in the past, but now just are completely invalid today. Like they don't work, you know what I mean? So, so I'm curious to just give space to that. Yeah, I don't know if let's see if there's any comments in the chat. So I see Lucy supports Tiffany, so that's big up, man. She said she's at a 10. Big up. That's what's up.
That's my number 2 fan right there.
I love it, man. I love it. That's real, man. The support's real. We need that, man. Like the world needs more love, you know, because I always say that when it comes to like the hatred and whatnot, like people will go out of their way to show hatred. People will go out of their way above and beyond to like destroy and put people down. But when people actually go out of the way to show love, like, yo, that's like really special. You know, that's really special. So big up to the supports. You know, I love that vibe.
I appreciate my peoples. I really do.
Indeed. Yeah, man. So
NFT crew, okay.
Yeah, NFT crew. I love that, man. So I don't know, like, who, you know, this is just kind of like a free flow. Oh, I see some more comments coming in. I love that participation. I don't know, Symbolic, you want to jump on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Are you talking about Masani, 1982?
There we
That's
go.
one I see.
Yep.
Greetings, beautiful souls. Greetings to you, Masani. At 9.5 this Monday. I love it.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Nice.
definitely. My brethren LeBon from out in Uganda. Am I saying? Yeah, Uganda is in the house. So we got African straight international. You know what? Hell yeah. Yo, I want you guys, you know, if when Logical asked a question as far as framing, but I would also want you guys to just say a little bit about who you are, introduce yourself, and what you do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. T, you want to do that? Or
Hi, I'm T. T Fanny. My real name is Tiffany, so my mom spelled it just pretty much as messed up as T Fanny. That's why I go by T Fanny, and I drink tea, and I, you know, the gossip and things. So that's T Fanny. I'm a rapstress, ghostwriter. I just do music. I feel like I'm just kind of a voice right now. For people who can't speak up or aren't able to, a lot of my music right now is for that. I'm just like, I could take whatever heat. I've been taking it from time, so to say what I want for people that can't speak up.
Powerful. Yes, man. Advocacy. I love that.
True.
And did you say you could take the heat? Like, so you'll say that the tough things, you'll speak out, because there are sometimes people who aren't necessarily like in that position or strong enough that they can take that heat.
Yeah, like I have a song, I have a #MeToo song yelling at the females who lie in court. I have a song, and then I flipped it around just the other day, and I have a song yelling at, you know, it was difficult we are supposed to be one as Black people. So to raise awareness about a Black man who is tainting the Black man's name and doing bad things like abusing a woman and whatnot. But these women are scared to come out, those kind of things. Or like as a female even being like, yo, we want to protect our kings out there, da da da. I feel like stuff that isn't always said a lot of times. It's easier coming from a female. Sometimes stuff that guys want to say, you know what I mean? So just little things like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love that.
It's super important, obviously, but I just see, we're also connecting in a way where you also have that strength in community. Like now we're connected, we can be like, okay, what's on your mind? How are you doing? Are you good? Oh, there's that issue. We got your back. And just to give a quick mention, Black Love DAO, that is a part of what the philosophy or the need for it, and that was going into web spaces where we're not necessarily seeing ourselves. So me moving in, realizing, yo, we should be squatted up when we move. You know what I mean? So we'll have support. Anyways,
100%. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. And Kim Ya, another person who speaks truth with beautiful and amazing music, that some of my favorite music. He's in the house and he just said, where can we find your music, T. Fanny? Yeah.
Oh, I'm okay. So I'm at a space right now where I love my unreleased more than my release. So I'm always wary about my music that's out. But I have, you could find it on Spotify, Tidal, like all of the streaming platforms. And if you can figure out how to spell my name, you can go to tfannymusic.com.
And you got a hint. You love tea.
Yeah. So a lot of times too, like, my girl, she was on the phone the other day and her friend told her that because she's light skinned, she doesn't understand Black people problems. And I wrote a whole song off of that alone.
Okay.
It's like, yeah.
That's funny.
Inspiration comes from everywhere. Sorry. But you can find me on all the streaming platforms. If you can figure out how to spell my name, it's my mom's fault. It's not my fault.
Peace.
It's a hard T Fanny. Not a hard to find.
Fanny. TEAFANNIE. Thank you. Right. I will definitely follow you back too. I see you. Wait, we need to introduce. Wait, are you on this side or this side?
Right, the first time, exactly. And I'm.
All right. Next up.
That's funny. So my name is Tanya. I also go by Tanya Vividly. That's kind of like my business stuff. I think I just love the idea of building with our community and seeing us prosper, because we need to win, So.
I love that.
Yeah, we need to.
Simple play, yeah. Like that's exactly where it's at, and I'm so happy that you all are here. Like I already feel that, the energy is proper, and I'm just like excited to see like where this can go. I'm just open to like new possibilities and just building and keeping this energy going, because what I realize is that people like we all need to see it in different capacities. However it exists. And we're doing that in real time. So big up. Yeah, man. Big up to everyone who's in the chats as well, man. It's you good, fam. If you need to, I was going to say, man, yeah, if you want to like let us know how you're feeling on a scale from 1 to 10, add that in the chats as well. Today's topic is like intergenerational, like trauma and healing, and I think like there's so many different intersections that we can look at. That can even go into like, the NFT space, music space, from a cultural standpoint, communal standpoint, individual standpoint. There's so much that we can, expand on. But I guess like, maybe I'll just throw it out there. Like what comes to mind, like when you hear that, when you think of like, intergenerational traumas and healing, like what are some things that come up for you?
I think of abuse right away. Is that bad? That's really, I went straight into it.
No, for sure. Like, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think of abuse right away because a lot of times abusers are abused. So that's like a huge thing. That's like, and it's so hard to stop without serious help.
Right.
that just keeps going, just keeps, yeah. It's
There is.
unfortunate.
You're right. There is a cycle, you know, and there's a saying where they say, like, you know, like hurt people, and you know, it's like this loop that just comes in, and you know, I see was it goddess Abby? I hope I just totally butchered name, forgive me, but saying breaking generational curses, and that's exactly, you know, like what I'm all about right now. I know, like in my family, you know, there's definitely, you know, abuse, and that can look in many different ways, not necessarily just physical, but it could be like emotional, you know, financial, like so much different like angles of that and what that looks like. And I'm beginning to really see patterns, you know. I know for me, I went from a space of like, you know, taking things like extremely like personal and you know, really come from this like victimization like mindset, which is totally understandable.
Yes.
But then I started like looking at like, okay, like what was taught to like my parents, and then what their parents taught, and then so on and so forth, and it just keeps going back and back and back, and how certain things are passed down. And then when I think of like periods of the generations, like now we're in a space where we can like, you know, we're moving towards having more like open conversations and communications and learning. But like once upon a time, like that was foreign. It was like you just kind of deal with it in silos, and we're not even going to speak on it. It's just like, you know, just like, you know, you got to be strong and resilience, you know. But then like the flip side of resilience is the fact that we don't get to like deal with things. We don't get to like really be in our emotions and work with it. It becomes something else. It becomes this like beast and this like demon in the back that just keeps breathing down our necks, you know. So
Being weak was seen as weak. 100%. Being weak was seen as weak, like,
right,
if that makes sense in a way, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, or even
Being vulnerable, or
exactly. Being vulnerable seen as weak for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
I think especially in a Caribbean setting as well too, that's where it's heavy drama, trauma, you know what I mean? And we just kind of brush it off and keep it moving, but then we just keep handing it to everybody.
Right.
So.
And I would say, I could say Africa has the same, you know, same, and I would probably venture to say colonized world, you know, that's something that was, you know, just a part of that. At least I could say Africa for my family and Caribbean for my family.
Indeed.
Get bottled up, so that I think that's where it's like, that beast that becomes intergenerational. You know, we don't talk about things that may be vulnerable as well as embarrassing, or, you know, things that are tough. But meanwhile, that, you know, that would be the same, you know, talking about them and, you know, in earnest would be how we could actually get through it and get past it. I see that I think it's Goddess Abby. Let me know if I'm saying it wrong or right. Heal the people can heal people. Yeah.
Yes.
That's a good way to flip the same kind of thing you're saying. And now Kemya said generations of broken conscious processing. And you get big up JY's in the house, King and family. I see Masani acknowledging the trauma and having open and honest conversations is in safe spaces. Yeah, that's what's up. And Goddess Zabi, technology has given us the opportunity to come together collectively to heal and inspire others. You know, I think that's an amazing point, because, you know, there are different, you know, ways that it can manifest itself, but I can see in Black community and in many, let's say, fandom communities where someone could be, or even, let's say, in people who are, let's say, might be a gay person in some small town, they can go online and all these cases and find people and realize that there are thousands and thousands of people like them somewhere in the world. So yeah, the technology thing is really interesting, and it can also seem like someone's just not doing anything. They're just, you know, you hear the kind of stereotype, oh, he's just around the computer, not really living life out there. But I mean, it is about balance. I'll go on in the comments. Kemya said Caribbean and African. I just had a dyslexic moment there. All right, we're all caught up in the chat.
I just wanted to like just build off of like, you know, creating like these spaces using technology, because like it's true, you know, and it's a tool. I mean, like these tools can be used for all different kinds of things, but we have to be intentional of like what our purpose is.
Intentions are so important.
Sorry?
Sorry, I was just saying intent is so important.
Yes.
Yeah.
So to add on to intent, you know what I mean, in terms of like, because I want to go back to Masani 1982. Shout out to 82 babies, you know what I mean? That's my year as well. You know, like acknowledging like the trauma and having open and honest conversations in safe spaces. Like what does like a safe space like look like, right? Because I really believe that like in order to you know, to get to a space of like vulnerability, because we're so guarded, and rightfully so. The world has taught us that, has taught us to be guarded, and taught us that like, yo man, you show any kind of weakness, the vulture's gonna come for you. So we got to like unlearn a lot, you know. So what is like creating a safe space look like for you all?
Would that be like communication with confidentiality?
That
So,
can include that. That can include that.
Yeah.
you know, like therapy in itself. But I believe more so in like group, like even the four of us, if we were to actually sit down and like talk about this is what I went through and this is what I went through and this is what I learned, we would all come out so much better. But that that inkling of like, is he gonna tell somebody or are they gonna go and like totally, you know, put me on blast now? Or yeah, it's that fear of who else is gonna know. But if we get rid of that fear, like who cares? We all have stuff that we go through. So if somebody knows that like I fell on my ass and like, well, okay, wait, I was gonna say something so extreme, but let's just say
it's okay.
You know, like whatever happens, just do it and see what happens. But that's so scary for people. I don't know. That unlearning and intent is very important.
Yeah. Well, I know for me, like one thing I've learned, like the more like I share and like, you know, like since the pandemic, that's when I started doing like a lot of these lives and whatnot. And I've noticed like the more that I share, you know, it has increased like my courage for one, to just be like vulnerable and to be like, okay, look, this is who I am. Forget like the image and the persona that I want to create. Like this is just all of me. And what that has done is like has also given like others permission to as well. So whether they like, you know, come live on the chats or they shoot me a DM, they're like, yo, that really resonated. And that's when I realized that like we become like those like living examples, you know, and it also gives people permission. And I use the word permission because sometimes we feel like we can't speak, we can't be free, you know, until we see an example of it. And then it's like, yo, like this person is just like, you know, like not like victimizing their experiences, but now it's shifting to like a place of empowerment now. You know, and we start realizing that we're not the only one that go through this. Like, you know, so when it comes to like generational traumas, yes, there's like the individual aspect, but then there's also like stuff that we experience collectively as a community from a culture. And then, you know, and then there's so many different like variations of that, right? So what's up?
That's very true. Like, I wonder what would have happened if DMX came out like Demi Lovato did before it was too late, you know? Because I really do feel like Demi talking about her stuff publicly really helped. And then it also helped other people because they're like, oh my gosh, like if she can do it, I can do it. But DMX, he was vocal about his stuff in his music, but not so much to the public because, I mean, it's the hip hop community.
Yeah.
He would have, who knows? Like, you know what I mean? Especially back in that day. I always wonder about that.
That's a really good point. And like DMX is like a really good example of when I think of like intergenerational trauma and healing, like he's like that yin and yang. He's like the perfect example. And he was really transparent with like a lot of his music, you know, in that, you know, like some of my favorite songs with DMX is like The Convo, you know, which is him, you know, having a conversation with God and like, you know, working through these demons and whatnot. And he was really like really fighting for that. And I do feel like as a community, there could have been, there's some missed opportunities for sure, because a lot of it, he was reaching out for help. Yes, he had some demons and maybe be difficult to like work with at times or whatever. But I see it now, looking back in retrospect, it was all like a cry for help. And then it wasn't until like he passed, and that's when everybody's like, you know, being, oh man, like, you know, he was a realist and we should have been there. And it's just like, yeah, like we got to get out of that mentality. Absolutely.
But I also think, sorry, a lot of times people use drugs and alcohol as a way of coping, right?
Yes.
And it's just that they just keep going over the line, and then it just gets worse and worse. And
but,
yeah.
Sorry, no, but with that, I feel like that's part of the generational trauma because we don't know how to deal with our stuff properly.
It's
Yeah.
Yeah,
true.
and
It's
so
true.
they turn to drugs and stuff,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate because if he dealt with those problems, he probably wouldn't have been on the drugs so much.
Right. Well, that's one thing that they always say, like when it comes to like, addiction, that like trauma is definitely associated with that. It's kind of like a way to like cope, and there's like this a reward association that comes with that. You know what I mean? So even if like the high is temporarily, at least it's numbing that, or at least getting your mind off of that pain temporarily. As opposed to like really just getting to the root of it and unpacking it. But like again,
I
we're
do
not.
that with cannabis.
Sorry.
I'm not gonna lie. I do that with cannabis. I'm not gonna lie.
Well,
If I
yeah,
like
yeah.
don't want to deal with something, I'll smoke a spliff, and just
Well,
okay.
It's a
sure.
healing medicine, right? So.
Yeah, but
And
except I don't know if I'm really healing. I think I'm just
Mhm.
putting it aside for another.
That's true. That's
so
true. That's true.
Yeah,
But sometimes you just need to chill a little bit, right? So.
Yeah, that's very
Well,
true.
like I mean, I can definitely speak to that, man. Like me personally, like when it comes to cannabis, like I quit like 7 months ago, and I'm someone who like it was like a regular, like me and Ken were like this, like I'm like buddies, and yeah, like when I think about like my use, like it started off as like being this like creative process with like music, but then it also like helped with like certain traumas and things I was going through, and it did serve its purpose. Like I'm not going to deny that, but I think for me it got to a place where it was more like enabling, like it wasn't doing, I was just numbing it, and then it became I'm just doing this just to do it, and because it became habitual, and then like it wasn't having the same effect and whatnot. So for me, I had to, like I got to a place, matter of fact, like it's crazy, like speaking of it, like when DMX passed, like that was like a pivotal moment in my shift, right? Because I started looking at it about just like addiction and just all these different things. And I'm not sure exactly what happened in my train of thought, but like around that time when DMX passed, that's when I was like, you know what, like I don't need this anymore, like this in this capacity, and I can't even explain it. It was almost like this like light switch where I just realized that like it served its purpose, like and these things are tools, just like how we look at technology, like cannabis. These are all tools, but if we tap into it, if we become like dependent on it, it becomes something else, just like with technology. So it's and again, I'm really like oversimplifying it. I'm not just saying, hey, well, just wake up and just stop. Like that's not. Everybody has their own journey and their own like relationship, how they work with things. But I started looking at it, it's just like this is like this tool, and now I appreciate and love the plant very much. But I just changed my relationship with it now, where I'm not dependent, because I started going inward and get into the root of like my traumas and the things, and that had to go with like a lot of like inner child healing stuff that I haven't like worked out with my father, and if I look at my relationship with my kids, and it was a lot that I went through. Like it really went down the rabbit hole, and to deal with those processes. But when it comes to like addiction, there's definitely an association with trauma, and I would never judge it, because like I've been in that space. Like I know what it is, but I think it's more having more conversations and talking about it and getting down to all the layers as to like the why, and then yeah, so. That's what I see.
I'm literally right where you are. Like where you were right before DMX passed.
Yeah.
That's where I am right now. Like I'm trying to do the meditation more than medication, but I know that like my cannabis use is definitely too much. I can't find another word. Just too much, too enough.
Well,
I know that it's not. I'm not using it for the medicinal purposes that it's meant for.
Right. I know for me, like there's a shift too. Like I mean, going like for me, like the main change was like smoking. That was something that I really, I felt like the physical effects of it, and it just was not, again, doing what it needs to be done. I know that if I were to go in that space, then I may have like some like cannabis leaf like tea or something like that. You know what I mean? Like so there's different ways to kind of like shift, and that's a different experience and whatnot. And then eventually, you may feel like you don't need it. Like I'm at this place right now where I don't need it. And I know that I'm in a different place because I can be around it. Downtown, I live downtown Toronto. There's cannabis stores everywhere. A lot of my friends still, blaze up or whatever, and I can be around them and not have any urge. And that's how I know that I've evolved to another space, which is really powerful. And
That's amazing.
It is. I mean, but that's not to say the temptation isn't there, because part of me is like, oh, maybe I'll just, but then, I enjoy the space that I'm at right now. You know what I mean? And that took a long time. I'm talking like almost like 20 years experience, something crazy, you know what I mean? But anyways, it's really about like healing, and that's the space that I'm at like right now. And And I want to see that within myself, within my community. I want to create space where my kids don't have to go through the same thing. You know what I mean? Where I know that if they're experiencing traumas, they can come to me and talk about it. It's not like, yo, just hush up and just, to deal with it. And nah, we're past that. Like, you know what I mean? Like we embrace it all now. Like we face our demons. You know what I'm saying? We don't just tuck it away in a corner anymore. And that's
I can't wait for that generation to come up. I really can't, because there's a whole generation of babies that are aligning chakras and meditating from young. Like, I can't wait to see. I hope that I'm alive to see that generation come up, because
well, the beautiful part is that we're at a space that we recognize it. Like the way how I see it is that we have like the knowledge of like the old and new world. Like we know what dysfunction looks like. We know that this don't work. So now it's like for my kids, as an example, like when I see their talents and their gifts, because every child comes in this world with gifts, that's my opinion. And I can see it. Like my job is just to make sure they don't forget that. So whatever their talents are, like they can have ideas that are completely away from like what I desire and want, you know what I mean? But I have to honor them as well. And just me as a guardian, as a parent, I gotta like, have that gardener approach, you know what I'm saying? Like make sure that they're nurtured. And we're in that space now where we can recognize it, as opposed to being like, oh, that's what you want to do with your life? No, this is what you're going to do. And it's more so like us living vicariously through our children. It's like, no, we're in a different space. Like you said, kids are like, meditating, aligning chakras, and are more interested in spiritual connection and having more meaning. It's a really exciting time, so there is definitely like healing that's happening. And I feel like we're all part of that,
I'm trying to catch up with your comments. I'm so blind, you guys. So that's why I keep going so close to the,
we've been chatting away, and I didn't realize that there's bare comments.
There's bare comments, and somebody just asked a really good question too, but I can only see half of it because of the way this thing scrolls.
Okay, so I'm gonna see what I got. Okay, so
I'm gonna let the good eyes do it. Okay.
Yo, Logic. I have a point where we weren't taught. Put it this way. I can start from this point and read down the comments if you like.
Okay, what point are you at? Because I'm at the top of the list right now, but what point are you at right now?
We unfortunately find too many similarities. This is Kemya, similarities in our traumatic experience rather than positive, and indirectly causes us to continue to manifest trauma onto others. So it's around there with the last, and then
okay.
I knew that. Yeah.
Yeah, you got it. Keep going.
Oh, cool. So we got Powerful Impact, which they've invited us to come out to their show in December. They're based out in New York. Big ups to you, y'all.
Nice.
This is dope AF. Yeah, it is dope when family comes together, when we see the technology and we look at, those things that we need to talk about, and we come together and do that. It's definitely dope. And Cornerstone, that same Powerful Impact crew, is non-judgmental. Exactly. That's what we definitely need. And like what Logic was saying about, starting with ourselves, and same thing with T, starting with ourselves and being like, you know what, like getting through the fear of how other people are gonna think about us, and just be like, this is what it is. It'll be fine, Cornerstone goes on. Being heard and seen is a safe. Is a safe space. Being respected and not neglected.
Oh, yeah. That's powerful. That's how you get that space. Shit.
Sometimes, so Kemya says sometimes the only Bible people ever read is your life. In
Jeez.
This freedom, freedom and flow. I guess that's a notification that they followed. I hope I followed. I know freedom and flow. Is that John X, or is that? It might be John X. If it is,
I was gonna say John X has been trying to move on from Twitter. So.
Yeah. Is that freedom and flow? That's John X.
Well,
John.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. With these different names in different spaces, I was like, okay. All right. So now back at it. You got Cornerstone says salute. He's one of the dopest MCs, and he's the teacher. Dope. I think that's it's right. It's like white on white for me right now, so it's kind of hard to see. But let's see. dopest MCs, and he's the teacher. Oh, I reread that. Author, NFT, creator, superhero, youth culture, power. Boom. So who are we talking about there? I don't know that part.
I don't know. I was like, which one of you two is he talking about?
Yo, okay. So then Cornerstone says King, JR, and Goddess Zabi. The mental health has always been frowned upon in the white on white again in the
hip hop community.
Hip hop community. Yes, people never felt comfortable talking about their personal issues. Oh, that's the old way. Those days are gone. We're moving into the new. Like Logic always says, the age of Aquarius is fun.
Come on, talk to tennis.
I will not judge you. DM me. I will not judge you. Like, if anybody wants to talk about something, just DM me. I will not judge you. You can put it in banish mode if you want to.
Love.
You know.
That's what we need right now, man. Give thanks.
Family, bro. Yeah. So Kemya goes on, but that's were you gonna say something, Logic?
No, go ahead, continue. Go ahead. This is great, man. Yo, love the participation, man. Yo, big up to everybody. I love it.
Absolutely. Yeah, so Kemya says, but that's the safe place thing again.
Yeah.
In the world DMX lived in, he was talking DMX, I'm sure. Okay.
Yeah.
The world lived in, he didn't have the luxury of coming out in public to speak about his shortcomings without being front page need and attacks on his
probably character.
Oh, character comes. Put it after on his character.
Your circle is so important. Yeah. Having a solid circle is so important. I maybe he was surrounded by yes men or something.
Yeah,
that's another thing that
he was surrounded by people that just wanted to party with him. You know.
Yeah.
Because I know he had like anger issues in the beginning. Anybody that called him, like he would say it all the time. Anybody called him short, he would go after him. Maybe he lost his friends at one point over something. You know, the rise is complicated, but I feel like he was definitely surrounded by yes men. He didn't have anybody in his corner at that point.
Indeed.
Yeah,
There's more.
Yes, a little bit more. I think a little bit. I don't know, but let's go. Self-medicating, says Cornerstone. Kemya said there are cannabis rituals.
Indeed.
That is something we probably in this time, especially in Canada, where it's been legalized, and everything is uprooted. The businesses, the people who are making it available, are not the ones who are put into the position of serving that cannabis to us.
No.
So I mean, the fact that there are rituals will be not even on their radar. So to continue, any medicine can turn into an addiction.
Yeah.
Even therapy can be addictive.
Okay.
Masani says, thank you for this space. Thank you for this space, Masani. Thank you, everyone who's here. Thank you for this space and conversation, sending an abundance of positive vibes. Yo, positive vibes out to you.
Positive.
Yo, okay, wait. I'm just going to pause for a second. T, you're in Calgary? Is that where you hail out of? All right. So I just want to say that, and I saw that Kersey jumped on here, and Kersey's out, I think Edmonton, so in the province. Yeah.
Link up. I was just in Toronto last week, and I was in Edmonton like yesterday.
Okay.
Word. Move making. Love it.
Movement.
Link up.
Yo, we are linked, and everyone in here, we definitely, if you're like, oh, maybe that person, hit up that person. The weaves and the connections are going. We're here. Okay, so back to the comments. Kemya says everything is a tool with a purpose. However, if the relationship with the tool becomes abused, the tool can become a weapon, and that either harms self or both self and others. Yo,
this person, right? Are you an author? Who is this person? Kim.
Yo.
Knowledge.
Yo.
What do you mean? Yo.
That is the
Kenya,
best.
make sure you follow me because I need to find your account.
Yeah,
He's the
yo.
brother that always wears the mask, right?
Yes,
Oh,
indeed.
Yeah.
okay. Yeah,
Come
I've
on,
seen
man.
him because I may have peeped your stuff just now.
Higher vibrations, yo. That's how we do, yo.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yo, the Kemia's input has been
Come
He makes
on.
me think of MF Doom. Rest in peace.
yes.
Word.
Or
Salute.
some like KRS-One or like yeah,
True.
fam, just
True.
real.
Yo, when I first heard Kimya, I was like, yo, this is wicked. And by the way, this is right on topic of our intergenerational trauma. Kimya always speaks about his wife, his
Yeah.
family, and
Yeah.
community
And that's
matters,
very good.
right? And I heard the first time I heard it, I was like, what is this? And then we ended up in a community like WhatsApp, and I'm like, are you that Kimya? You're the Kimya? And so then we connected, and same kind of thing. Actually, Kimya told we when we were on the phone, he was telling me about his story. Like, this is the first time we're talking with voices, just the same in the spirit that you were just saying, T. And I said to Kimya, firstly, it was like, yo, this is my story, like from coming up, in Jane and Finch, and from traveling African, mother, and so that same confiding, which on one level, right, it makes you just feel like, yo, this person is just, it just makes it like an intimate, like a friend, and so it takes it to another level. But what was I gonna say now? And to go back to the comparison, that I was like, yo, when I heard your music and I went on to listen to more, I thought of Dead Prez.
Mm.
Yeah.
That type of hip hop that makes you like, yo, we are, But I'd say it gets even. I don't actually know. I was gonna say even more personal, but I would say no. They had like mind sex. That's some pretty personal approaches
Still
to it.
consciousness though. But just to
Yeah.
add just to add to Kenya, like I've known Kenya since he was a teenager, and just
Wow.
seeing his like evolution and like from that intergenerational perspective and where he's at now, it's like, yo man, like he's a king. You know what I'm saying? Like I've really seen him grow and maneuver through so many different spaces, man. So I'm like so like proud of him. And now he's like, like he's always been SFA fan, but now it's just like, even harder, and just seeing how like things just align. It's like sometimes the paths go all in different kinds of directions and we come together like this. It's really fascinating to see, man. So big up Kenya, man, for the vibration that he's bringing. But I see some more comments.
He's there. He's here. Like
Absolutely.
right
So,
here.
Just like in the interest of time, because I want to get through all these comments, because y'all are really active right now. So big up to everybody in the chat. Cornerstone Psychotherapy says, has anyone here been to therapy, and what were the results? Like, just curious.
Whoa.
Interesting.
Yeah, I have. I was married for 5 years, and then found out that on our 5th anniversary, found out that he'd never thought that we were in a relationship, and neither did any of his friends. So I went to therapy to make sure that I didn't join that circle of hurt, So that was big for me. And then I also learned a lot about the stuff that I do because of how I was raised, and so I felt like I learned a lot. I felt like I grew a lot. But also I went for, I think it was about 6 weeks. And then I felt like I learned enough that I can adapt it and do things myself and grow, instead of, just talking to a therapist was kind of the same as talking to the like-minded people like you guys.
Right.
I found that I surrounded myself more so with like-minded people and that are elevated. So having these kind of conversations with my friends now is always an elevation. You know what I mean?
Proper. Yeah, man.
But
Anybody else want?
Therapy helps.
Okay.
Nice.
Anybody else want to add on any other experiences with like therapy or other schools of thoughts? Or
I always thought about it, but I kind of talked myself out of it, just because I was like, okay, you know what? It's okay. I think it was just sharing that kind of information. So I would kind of, in the end, amongst people that I felt either went through the same things. So I had my own community, you know what I mean? That we would talk about things. And I think that helped. but I
Mm-hmm.
also would actually take courses to kind of teach myself. You know what I mean?
Nice.
So.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
would definitely recommend a black therapist too, because you don't want to spend 15 minutes explaining why things are different because you're black.
Well, and that's the other thing, especially in Canada. It's like, how are we going to, yeah, like I just found it a bit harder to find somebody that was, I felt I could share this with, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know
So,
something? I'm gonna put a link like when this is all like said and I posted on my channel. I'm gonna put a link in the chat to like some like black therapists because I actually saw a post a couple days ago and I was like, this is useful. You know, I'm all about collecting useful tools and stuff, and that's very very important for our experiences. In terms of for me, when it comes to like therapy, I haven't done like formal therapy, but I have been part of like certain like I guess like schools of like thought or like certain trainings that help like unpack certain like stories that are created in our minds. And I think like hearing other people's stories and going through different things like also encouraged me to like be able to be to come out and speak on things. But one of the things that really stuck out in one of the sessions was like sometimes when we go through things like whether we're experiencing trauma or whether it's things that's been happening to us or things that we have done, like we collect this experience of like shame and like guilt, and then we kind of like take it on as our identity. And what I've learned is that these are just my experiences, not my identity. So
Yeah.
and a lot of these things go back to like even childhood, what I mean? So
yeah.
like there was a time where I was young and I got caught for smoking weed or whatever, and then I was like got in trouble for that. I felt shame. I let my mom down and all these different things. And like, and then I started taking in like, there's something wrong with me. Like I'm bad. I can't be fixed. Like, this is just who I am. And then that goes in whatever direction it needs to go. But to really understand that, like, no, that's not my identity. You know what I mean? That's just my experiences. That's just what happened. That's what I did, but there's times to where I can like, restore integrity or heal and not just like forgive those who have judged me, but also to forgive myself as well, which was a major game changer and probably the most difficult. Like it was easy for me to forgive other people, but for myself, like to deal with that own like guilt and shame, was a major challenge. And that really opened up my eyes and my doors to like, move forward. So even to this day, when something happens that doesn't go according to plan, or I let someone down or whatever, it's like, okay, that's not my identity. That's just what happened. Figure out what do I need to do to restore integrity? What do I need to do to process or hold space or do whatever I need to do? And that has created more opportunities for me, So that was just kind of like my takeaway from my like informal experience with like therapy. And I think that's what therapists was do, like really help us get these like tools for us to like develop the answers and results ourselves. It's not like they're going to be like, this is what you have to do. It's more so like, well, what do you feel is best for you? And then we got to figure out the answers for ourselves, So it's creating that space. But yeah, that's my experience.
Okay.
I see there's more comments. We're going in. I see Annan's creation saying, I appreciate the medical effects of cannabis. Kudos to sis who's being self-aware of her use. Man, I do the same reflections and make sure I'm in balance with the medicine. Yeah, I just want to add to that real quick since we're talking about cannabis. Is like what is interesting. Like this summer, like I actually grew a couple plants, and that was a very spiritual experience. I don't know because I'm not like a gardener. I don't grow stuff, but I got a whole different appreciation. It's a really mystical and spiritual plant. Just not even from a consumption level, but just being around it energetically and watching it grow and flourish and grow flowers and all these different things. Incredible experience, it is a very special plant and there's a lot of healing properties just from being around it. Like there's something about being, around massive plants and you're just like in the midst of it. Anyways, we'll save that for another day.
That's so interesting. I feel that way about music.
It's the same thing. That's exactly what it is. Yes, there is a correlation. I believe that. I don't know how to prove it scientifically, but there's definitely a correlation.
There is. Yeah, because like during COVID, I went and did every part of the music that I could try. I wanted to try and make a beat. I tried to mix and master. I tried like all the pieces.
Yeah.
And even though I suck at a lot of it, I have a high new appreciation for just the product of music in general and like how it really makes me feel in that correlation. So that's crazy. Until you said that, I never really
It's
put
the same
them
thing.
parallel like that.
I have a whole new appreciation from like the growing to like the harvesting to the curation. There's a whole, it's a system, and it's not for the faint of heart. Like you really have to enjoy it. It's like when people talk about being like an accountant or something. Like you really have to like it. You know, like it's one of those things because there's a lot of tedious things that go into it. There's a science. You know,
Did you
and it's
talk
really,
to the plants as well?
of course, talk to it, play
Of course,
music.
because that's what
Yo,
the key is.
I'll be doing like Reiki on my plants, like all energy. You know, I can really go deep into it. Like it's really a spiritual experience, and especially for people who like consume cannabis, I would encourage you now that things are legal. Like yo, just get like a one plant and just nurture it and be with it and experience it from that like aspect. You know what I mean? You'll have a whole different appreciation for it.
Yeah, when you kill it and inhale it.
True.
Yeah, true indeed.
I want to say, like, it's generally plants. That's the thing. We talked about, you know, the relabeling of Black culture as urban culture, how that's rubbish. We are supposed to be around nature. And so even there are studies about people recovering and having a tree even visible to them as they're recovering in hospital, and they get better outcomes. So I just widen it and be like, yeah, especially it's a good idea if you're going to smoke it. Just like if you're going to participate in, I don't know, in anything. If you're going to play video games, learn how video games are made. But I just think there's this relationship. Yeah, there's this relationship with that we are indigenous people. We're indigenous to Africa, and we are people who hold those similar things. They kept us moving forward for thousands and thousands of years. What kept us healthy and growing out to become all the other people of the world. A part of it is nature. Anyways, that's enough of me for that. But yeah.
Groundation is our foundation.
Jeez.
Yeah, wasn't our lawns were never meant for grass. I can't remember where what they actually have put it for grass because they didn't want people to be like sustainable like that. But really, when we had our neighborhoods back in the day, those lawns were meant to grow your food, and then it's community food. One person will grow this, one person grows this, one person grows this, and you all interchange it. I can't wait till we get back there. We will get back to that. But grass is so useless. Why? Like, how did that come into play? You know.
And part of healing intergenerational trauma to me is also connecting back to the land in that capacity. That's what I've learned with just growing cannabis, like, and being like, you know, in like the dirt, the soil, and just really seeing that process, you know. And I love what you said though, where it's like everybody's growing different things, and we have this exchange. Like that's a beautiful, like tangible way of creating community, and then coming together to break bread, and like how much healing that is, and how much, you know, breaking generational curses, because in this Western world, everything is so like individualized. You know what I mean? It's like my family's over here. We got neighbors that we don't even speak to no more. Like, you know what I mean? Like living there 20 years and you don't even know your neighbor. It's like, what? That's not who we are, yo.
Right. And I think that we can look at that, like, just again in general, where whether it's in music, whether it's in, I don't know, some tech project, whether it's with teaching, you know, children. If we take that same lawn, you know, example that you had, like, what do I do? What do I have a passion for? And, you know, nurture that, and then come back to community. I think that the analogy works.
Yes, everybody has something. Everybody has something, and you're gonna love that something. So it won't be hard to nurture when you find it. You know.
Absolutely, yeah. So in the interest of time, man, we got like 5 minutes left, man. I know there's some more comments. I know some you want to jump on those. Like everybody's super active.
I know.
All right, I'm just gonna start where it starts though, because man, that they're just active in the comments. I see Cornerstone. Can NFTs be associated with mental health purposes? If so, how can they overlap and help each other through purpose? Man, come back to NFTs. I think I don't know if anyone has any ideas right now. People are doing a lot of things with NFTs. I'm pretty sure there is something in there, but I think we'll have to
personalize something. Oh my gosh, yes, it could be. Oh, that's amazing. I'm gonna research that as soon as we're done. That's a really good.
Well,
there's something in there.
Yo,
There,
whatever that is, I want in, man. Let's do it. Let's build it. I'm
well,
Yeah.
in.
yeah.
I'm
And when we
in.
do what we envision with our needs, our community needs, with our worldview, we're gonna do something that's next shit. You know, we're gonna do something that like the world has never seen. So just even asking that question like steps in that direction. Yo, I see Paul jumped in the house. Big ups to you. Let's see. I see a John Cornerstone saying John Robinson, but I don't know what the context is on that.
Oh, that was what we were talking about. They said, oh my gosh, no, I lost it. I lost it.
All right.
All right. Well, you know, it's cool. It's in the chat. We can listen through later. I do see Anand's Creations. How can we learn to hold the community collective accountable through an abolitionist lens, meaning not canceling people out, but facilitating change through reducing harm. These spaces are vital. Thank you. Yo,
Absolutely.
thank you, Anand's Creation.
You
Yeah,
know,
no, that's
I think we're actually like doing that like right now, like on a
Yep.
little like small, simple scale, and obviously we want to expand that. But yeah, like having no judgment, really understanding that like, you know, these are our experiences, not our like identities. You know what I mean? Like that traumas that we're going through, and really recognizing that and giving the person, you know, whoever is like space to like unpack and to like transform that energy. You know, I know it's not easy to do though, but instead of like, you know, bringing people down, like how do we build them up? Like that should always be the first question. You know, I mean,
It
obviously if you're
depends
like
because
life is,
that's hard too.
it is,
Because
yeah,
it's when you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So
Oh
it's
my
like
God.
you
Woo.
want to help those people, but at the same time, it's like when if there's patterns and no remorse, that's where it
of
gets
course,
like,
of course. For
yeah.
sure, for sure, for sure. But even then, what I've learned is like, you know, you can still like love people at a distance. Like, you
Yeah.
know, like I still have my boundaries. Like, don't get it
Yeah.
twisted. There's a lot of people I had to cut off, but I still love them from a distance. I wish them well. I send
Mhm.
them positive vibes. You know what I mean? Like, instead of having like an hour conversation, I may give them a 10-minute conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Or
so
5.
or 5, exactly. Like whatever. But you know, I have to protect my energy as well. You know what I mean? But we can still like show love, right? So I really believe in that.
Self-care.
It
I'll have to work on
100%.
that because I completely cut people off. I'm really bad at that. Like I decided at one point that I'm nice to everybody and I'm sick of being taken advantage of. So instead of me being mean, I changed my circle so
Right.
that I could be nice to whoever's inside my circle and I could be as nice as I want to be. But then I turned into like the judgment person, I guess,
Right.
because now I'm like, well, you don't deserve my niceness. But really, they still need help. So yeah, 5-minute conversations at a time. Definitely. That makes more sense. I like that.
It's a process, you know what I mean? You got to
Mhm.
find your comfort level, you know?
Indeed, indeed.
Yeah.
Perfect,
all
perfect.
right.
Well, let's keep it going with these comments. I want to make sure everybody gets you know, gets a little shout out.
Right. I lost
Okay,
my
well,
thumb.
I'll keep it moving. So so I see Freedom and Flow saying it came through, man. So that's the homie there over on Twitter. We see
Okay.
big up to the diaspora family throughout Canada. You already see it. Yeah, man. Freedom and Flow saying symbology on X, man. Made it, yo. Feels good to be here. Cornerstone Therapy saying bars. I see Kemia saying you guys are killing me, man. Like peace to Doom and the teacher KRS. You know what I mean? Yo, it's the same frequency, man. That's what it is, man. That's that intergenerational consciousness. You know what I mean? That's being pushed forward. You know what I mean? So we talk about trauma, but we don't talk about the other flip side that gets passed down through generations. You know what I mean? And we're carrying that legacy off the backs of Public Enemy, KRS-One, Dead Prez. You already know. You know what I'm saying? Kim is saying, I appreciate the love, everyone. Truly, thank you. I see my brethren Umpo Kwaho, man. Make sure you go check him out on Digstown, man. CBC Gem. You know, he's killing it right now, man, on the big screen. He's saying I was put into anger management by Youth Court a year or two, I believe. It was quite helpful. Okay, but maybe we'll get him on next week to build more on that because like he's incredible, like mind, you know, brilliant guy. We have another comment says this is a collective therapy and healing. Love it. So yo, we're manifesting all the things that we're saying that we're trying to do. We're actually doing it right now in real time.
Yeah.
We just got to start. That's one thing I've learned too.
Yeah.
Like, don't
Yeah.
worry about like the shiny stuff and and the banners and all this. Like, yo, let's just do it. You know?
Intent.
Thank you. Intent.
To build.
Yeah, man. I see Kemia's reaching out back to Umpo saying, yeah, I always thought it was BS, but can't deny it helped me navigate through the rage. See the Soul, the big up See the Soul saying, if we had healthy, active communities, it functions as therapeutic because first place to heal is having mirroring and validation in our community. So, and we're doing that right now. So congratulations. You know, that's what we're doing. You know, we're creating space to share our experiences and validating each other. And now we feel empowered. You know, we're like, okay, this energy is shifting. And that's how we know it's healing. And one sign of healing for sure is when we can like go back and talk about our traumas and not necessarily get too triggered anymore. That's how you know you're really healing from it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of flying through these comments. So Kemi is saying circles such as these ones are also therapy, and even if it ain't professional office, absolutely. Kemi is saying I think we need to also have more conscious building conversations on dissecting the differences between one's nature and one's character. Indeed. Yes, character evolves, but nature always remains the same. Yes, 100%. When I think of nature, I think of like when we're born, like what we have. Like when you see like children naturally like interact and whatever, that's their nature. But then character and all these different things that are like, you know, created through different circumstances, whether it's like cultural, environmental, like, you know, traumas, all these different things, you know. But that might be a part 2. I like that, man. You know, I'm talking about like character and nature. So I may have to come back next week. Let me just keep this
part 1 of 10.
Part 1 of 10. Real talk, man. Let's keep it. Let's keep it going.
Yeah.
See the Soul jumping in saying therapy is terra, as in like the earth is terrestrial plane. When you're outside of your true nature, you become imbalanced, man. Important not to get back to nature. So important to get back to nature. Yes, absolutely. I like that. I really want to build more on that, man. The terrestrial plane and really getting into that when you're in balance.
Yes. Toes in the grass, toes in the dirt.
Yes. All of those, like we need those tangible like rituals that those practical ways that we can do. I feel imbalanced. Okay, let me take off my shoes. Let me get away from this concrete. Let me get in some soil. You know, like be with nature. Be with the plants.
Dash your phone away for a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, took your phone away. Absolutely, man. Kemia's going on saying, yes, grew my plants as well. Never felt more godlike. Seeing the connection with my childbirth, and for me, it all connects back to music. Man, liberating interconnection, and you know, I mean, you can even ask those jazz musicians and players about jazz and cannabis and whatnot. You know what I mean? But we'll leave that for another story. I see Michael Gibson, man, big up the teacher there. You know what I mean? Doing amazing works. He's amazing, like illustrator, artist as well. Does incredible portraits. Follow his account. Incredible, like really like his work looks like photographs. It's incredible. And it's all like pencil work. I don't know. Forgive the correct term, but yeah, dope.
Who's that?
Yeah, Michael Gibson.
Michael Gibson?
Yeah, follow his account, man. Like, yo, he needs to have some NFTs. Real talk.
Michael C. Gibson on here. Michael C. Gibson.
Yes. He's saying that therapy helps us create clearly and important personal emotional context. Yep. You know what I mean? Kemi's saying my plant's name is Starseed. Okay. Info comes in saying African people have always been botanists. Yeah, it's and you know what? It felt really natural. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of starting. You know, a lot of it was intuitive. I just knew what to do. You know what I mean? And I think that's our spiritual like birthright, man. So everybody plant some seeds, man. I don't care if it's tomatoes. I don't care if it's cucumbers, garlic. Put something in the soil, yo.
Yeah.
Yo, Kim was going hard in here, man. He's saying, yeah, man, my wife been an herbalist, learning more about the plants through her and her grandmother, and now it's an essential part of our daily meditation. You know what I'm saying? Let's see, grounding is our foundation. We see we must also learn how to grow our own food. You see Anand's creation saying, when I meditate the plants, I feel transported to parts of myself that capitalism disconnects me from. 1,000%. 1,000%. There's a spiritual disconnection. 100%. Like, I feel it. I know it.
Yeah.
I know the difference. 100%, yo.
Just one thing on that, yeah. And capitalism has us thinking that, you know, the the green herbs and plants, whatever we eat, it comes from a grocery store. No, there's a free process.
Yes.
That's just our relationship with nature. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%, fam.
That's it, man. So See the Soul says, I've been a NFP. I'm not sure what that stands for. Maybe you can break that out for us.
NFT. She meant to say NFT. I saw the next comment.
Okay, well, shit. Oh man, NFT since 2000. It's amazing therapy, but frequency medicine is the new healing modality. Okay.
So interesting. I swear I'm researching this. I know, because NFTs are so personalized too, and as they're one of a kind sometimes, like I can definitely see how you could personalize and help different people with their mental health with that. It's art, right?
On to something, man. This is what it is, man. We're in that building.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to go
wonder
on another NFT show. We're gonna have to go in Logic on another NFT
Well,
show.
we already got our topic for Thursday, man, over on Twitter Space, man. So we can continue some of this. You know what I mean? And keep building.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, you guys are on Twitter too. Oh, my brother just popped in here. Hi, bro.
Okay. Big up, man. So,
Talking about generational trauma.
Yeah.
That's me and my bro right there.
We're coming to the end of our session today, man. But this was a powerful build, and I know that we're going to have to continue this conversation, you know, of this healing and just finding tangible ways of how we're building community, man. And this is love. I feel energized. I'm at a 10 now. Now I knew this was going to happen, man. I'm up now. My Monday is live. I'm ready to go. Like, let's do this, man.
That's it.
The Kendrick song, Are You on 10 Yet? Are You on 10 Yet? Are You on 10 Yet? Black Panther.
Hey.
Nice.
Have to look it up.
What? That Black Panther soundtrack was lit.
Soundtrack. Yeah.
I might have to run that right now. That's how I'm feeling right now. I'm like charged.
Honestly, if that's how you're feeling, it will get you. Like it's that soundtrack. Yeah.
I'm pumping that right now, man. Well, that's what's up, man. So yo, like I said, man, well, I guess, you know, big up to everyone who came through for today, man. You good fam. Every Monday, man, virtual community check-in, you know, rooted in healing, rooted in transformation, and sharing our stories, man, speaking our truths, man. This is, you know, each one teach one vibes. Shout out to everyone in the chat, man, who's participating. I love it. Myself and Symbolic, we're going to be over on Twitter on Thursdays at 3:30 p.m. on All Day SFA, where we're going to be continuing more talks on, like, you know, digital spaces, NFTs, all that good stuff. But I feel like, like mental health and you know, healing and ways that we can support each other is going to be a really interesting topic, man. So, you know, we'll have some links and all that stuff. You can join us over there, man. But big up to everyone, man. This was a beautiful vibe, man. Beautiful vibe.
Yes, it was lovely.
Thank you, Lady Vividly, for connecting me with these two.
That's what it's all about, man.
Yep, that's it.
I appreciate you. This was an amazing conversation.
Let's keep inspiring each other, man. And, you know what I'm saying? Until next time, everybody make sure we follow each other, keep in contact. Anything that's going on, let us know so we can repost and share. I think that's just a really simple and easy way that we can support each other, you know what I mean? And just keep that going, you know what I mean? So big up. And yeah, man, I know Symbolic, any last words or you know, our sisters, any last words for the people them?
All right. Well, you might have something after. I would just want to say, you know, how it's so organic, like everything has been in this journey. Like Logic always said, like what's the saying? You know, be firm on the vision, but not on the details.
Yeah, be stubborn with the vision, flexible with the details. You know what I mean? So, like, we know where we're going. Because it just saves time. It just saves, like, unnecessary, like, you know, like stagnation. Just let it flow, man. Let it flow. So.
And it's been like that, and, you know, family, connecting with family, and it's just inspiring knowing, you know, we're out there thinking about these things and with different skill sets and experiences, but we're, you know, I feel like the family, because, yeah, we have people from different continents here today, and, you know, and this is just an intimate, you know, and I feel like this is just the way that it's moving, and I'm sure they represent a bunch of people over there, and you know, in those places. And then there's people who would have loved to be here, didn't know about this. So, you know, I'm just inspired. I'm fully gone from 8.5 to a 10, and Good, fam. Yeah, I'm good. And what, do you guys have anything you want to say before we start our week?
I'm at a 10 as well.
Yeah, 10. 10 for sure. 10
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
10 for sure. I'm very blessed to have been in this space with you guys. I learned a lot. If anybody wants to DM me, please feel free. I am an open book. I will tell you all about my life with no, I don't care anymore. I'm at that space where I don't care. So
But that's a
please,
good
I will
space to
share
be in. It's a good space
whatever.
to be in. Yeah.
Give thanks, man. Appreciate. Yeah, man. That's what's up.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Lady Vividly. Thank you, Logic. Thank you, Symbolic.
Yes, respect. Yeah, like this is really good. A great way to start off the week, and positive vibes and blessings to everybody, and it's all about, going forward.
That's it, man. Let's keep it moving, yo.
Yeah.
Blessing everyone, man. We got a lot of work to do, man. Like, we're changing the course of time, man. We're setting up the foundation for the generations to come. So, like, some of the traumas and things we experience will be so foreign to them. They'll be like, yo, like, how come people weren't building? Like what doesn't make any sense? Yo, man, we're doing the work right now, man. So big up to everybody on their journey. You know what I mean? And yeah, man, we just continue to speak our truths, and that's good enough. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's up.
True.
All right, y'all. Till next time, man. Big up to everyone who came through in the chat, man. This is You Good Fam every Monday at 11 a.m. right here on SFA_community. That's what it is, man. Intentions, man. One step at a time, yo. So let's keep intentions in our heart and in our minds, man. Let's keep building each other up, man. Not bringing each other down, all right? So leave y'all like that. And we out, man. Peace, y'all.
Yeah. Peace.
Peace.